Good morning, everyone, and most warmly welcome to this press conference given by the Prime Ministers of Finland and Prime Minister of Spain. And we start with short introductions. Prime Minister Orpo, please.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon and welcome. It is a pleasure to host you, Prime Minister, dear Petro, here in Helsinki, here in Finland, and here in Kesäranta. Political relations between our countries have deepened during the past years. I truly appreciate that you wanted to come to Finland to see the world through our Nordic eyes. The world we are living in is important that we want to understand each other's perspectives and each other's concerns. It was an honor to be able to host you here in Kesäranta, a building what has served as a Finnish Prime Minister's residence for over 100 years. This allowed me to explain parts of our history and how it affects why we Finns feel so strongly about European security and Ukraine, and why we think that we need to do more for Ukraine and for Europe's security. First of all, I'm very happy that we achieved last week at Special European Council. It is now clearer than before that the EU speaks with one voice and that we support Ukraine as fast as possible in every way we can. I know we share this view. One thing remains clear: Russia is a permanent threat to the whole Europe. So let me repeat. We need to act now to help Ukraine and to reinforce Europe's security. I think that Europe needs clear vision. Within 5 to 10 years, Europe must be a true European pillar of NATO. We must start working on this now. The White Paper of European Defence is coming next week. This should guide our work. We think that Europe must build ability to deter and defend, ability to produce defence material, a strong defence industry. We are also working on this as we speak. While we meet here in Helsinki, our defence ministries and defence industry leaders are meeting in Madrid. Finland and Spain can work together on this domain. Reinforcing European defence needs financing, both nationally and at the EU level. These decisions are ahead of us now during spring. I want to thank you for joining the letter we sent in January with our 20 other countries calling on the European Investment Bank to increase its financing for the European defence industry. As you very well know, Finland has been known for being frugal. But now we are discussing security, which for us is existential matter. Here our government is open for different financing instruments. I believe that we will find solutions. EU-level funding must prioritize the areas that are at the moment most exposed to threats. This means securing Europe's front line. At the same time, we understand that there are different security threats in other parts of Europe, for example, in Spain. But right now, the main focus should be on the eastern border. Among security and defence issues, we have many other priorities in the coming spring. I'm glad that we will be working together on European competitiveness, immigration and multi-annual financial framework, for example. But, dear Petro, I want to thank you for your visit and especially for your friendship. It has been great to work with you in European Council and in European level. Next time we will go to sauna. Thank you. I am looking forward to continue these discussions next week in the European Council.
Thank you very much, Petteri, and thank you for the Finnish hospitality. It is an honor to be here in Helsinki with my friend Prime Minister Orpo. Afterwards, I will also meet with President Stubb. Finland is a leading member of the European Union, a country with an impressive welfare system, a vibrant innovation system or ecosystem, and a leader in education. So Finland is also a friend and a close ally of Spain. That is why I am here today, because as friends, we do not only share European membership, above all, we share values. And what is at stake right now? Our values. So your border, dear Prime Minister, which represents more than half of the European Union's entire border with Russia, is our border. So your security is our security. Your defense is our defense. The NATO summit we held in Madrid in 2022 opened the door for Finland to join NATO, which materialized almost 2 years ago, and thanks to that, we are now stronger. But however strong we are, the international order is changing very fast, and this requires us to provide trust and certainties together to our people, to our citizens. Spain is thousands of kilometers away from Finland. In fact, there is no larger continental distance in the European Union than the 5,000 kilometers that separate Tarifa in southern Spain from Nurgam in the north of your country. But we could not be closer. And this is my principal message. We could not be closer. We feel your concerns as they were our own, because they are, because any threat to a member state is a threat to the European Union as a whole, because nothing protects us more than the strength of our union. And today I want to make it clear that the Spanish government and the Spanish citizens are holding your back in this very critical moment. During, of course, our meeting today, we discussed first about Ukraine. As I landed in Finland yesterday evening, the news had broken that Ukraine has accepted the US proposals to enact an immediate interim 30-day ceasefire subject to the acceptance and concurrent implementation by Russia. I think these are, of course, positive news coming from Jeddah. Now Russian reciprocity is key. We still don't know what their reply will be. What I can tell you for sure, because we have been saying this from day one, is that the European Union is ready to play its part in the peace negotiations, since Ukraine's security is our own security. This is an existential issue for Europe, as Prime Minister has said. Ukrainian security and European security are two sides of the same coin. It has been more than 3 years of heroic resistance by the Ukrainian people. Putin, let's remind it always, the aggressor has not achieved his goal, and he has not succeeded because of the support we provided, military, financial, political, and humanitarian, and unconditional support that we will uphold for as long as it is needed. In fact, my country, Spain, we have understood this very well. Consequently, my country has been actively engaged and has provided critical bilateral support to Ukraine. Let me just name the main components. Spain has been the 4th member state hosting Ukrainians fleeing their country. More than 230,000 Ukrainian citizens are in fact living in Spain as a result of the Russian aggression. In 2024, we signed a bilateral security agreement through which we sent lethal and non-lethal material totaling 1.1 billion euros. This commitment has been renewed for 2025 with an additional package of military aid of 1 billion euros. And last but not least, we have also trained more than 7,000 Ukrainian soldiers in Spain. Now, looking forward, and after the news yesterday, we reiterate that our objective is straightforward. We said it loud and clear at the last European Council. We need a just and lasting peace, a peace that respects Ukrainians' independence and sovereignty based on international law, a peace through strength based on security guarantees. And on top of this discussion, Ukraine, we have also addressed European security and defense, as Prime Minister has explained. Last week, we convened in Brussels to discuss. Spain's vision is clear. Defense and security are European public goods. In the face of common challenges, we must deliver joint responses. Our union has gone through different crises in the last years, and we learned something. The more united we are in our response, the stronger we emerge. We understand security with a 360-degree approach. We want a European Union that protects us on all fronts, from open conflicts to cyber attacks, energy crisis, and climate catastrophes. It does not matter whether the threats come from the north or the south, because Europe is capable of dealing with them all. And in this context, we must also deliver to our citizens by driving the dynamics of innovation and competitiveness of our defense industry. Today, we also discussed opportunities for Finnish and Spanish companies. I know Finland and Spain, my dear friend, Petteri, are fully united and aligned in this determination, and I thank you, Prime Minister Orpo, for your invitation, for your hospitality, for hosting us so warmly. It was very important for me to come today to Helsinki, and I'm looking forward to take together that sauna. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Prime Ministers. And then we go to the questions. We start with the Spanish media. Charlotte Nunes Cuatro, please.
Good morning, Presidents. Spain is asking for different mechanisms for finance that increasing in defense spending, if there are not direct transfers from Europe and without enough supports inside our country. How can Spain fulfill this commitment with Europe? Thank you.
So thank you very much for your question. First of all, let me remember one thing, which is that Spain has increased our defense expenditure over the last 7 years. And we are ready to fulfill our commitment on investing 2% of our GDP. Second, it is also very important to remember that besides the 2%, we have other two commitments coming from the Wales Agreement on NATO, which are the capabilities and commitments. And we are fulfilling and well above the commitments reached in the Wales Summit of NATO back in 2014 when it comes to capabilities and commitments. But rest assured that we are ready to fulfill that 2% of our GDP, and we will deliver. Second, when it comes to how do we finance from the European level these new challenges coming from defense and security, and I was sharing also with the Prime Minister Orpo what I think. My feeling is that Finland has been leading the idea of engaging the EIB, and this is very much welcome from Spain. And I thank Prime Minister Orpo for this idea and this proposal. Second, I think it's very good for all countries that we have this escape rule clause for the fiscal, let's say, rules and consolidation, and this is fine. We are ready also to use this tool on our national budget. Spain is growing very strongly. It represents 50% of the economic growth of the whole European Union, the Spanish economic growth, so we're ready to use this tool. And when it comes to this new financial instrument, what I table in the Council is that we have to think not only on loans, but also grants. And perhaps there will be some Finnish people that say, well, someone coming from the south, of course, is always very vocal on grants and not on loans. But I am not asking for grants for the southern countries. I'm asking for grants for the eastern flank of Europe, as we did during the COVID crisis for the countries that were very much harmed by the COVID and the situation we faced back in 2020. So what I'm saying is that we need to have a more balanced approach when it comes to this new financial instrument, not only in loans, but also grants, And these grants will go, this is my proposal, this is the Spanish proposal, mainly to the Baltics and the Nordics, the countries that are closer to the Russian border. So they need also to feel that solidarity from the European Union as a whole. This is my proposal. This is, the idea that I shared with Prime Minister Orpo, and of course, I think at the end of the day that we need also to consider seriously that defense and security are European public goods. And for that, we need also common resources.
First, I want to thank you very much, Pedro, on your position on our security concerns and what you just said about the financing, the needs we have because of security situation. It's very important. And I think that you travel to Finland at this moment, at this time. It shows your solidarity to Eastern flank. It's wonderful. It's wonderful because we are united, and that Russia is permanent threat to whole Europe, not only Eastern flank, but whole Europe, and that's why we have to prepare our and strengthen our defense, and we have to work in national level. Like we are doing, like you are doing when you are increasing your expenditure. But we have to work closely inside the NATO to coordinate what we are doing, what capabilities we need inside the NATO to secure Europe. And like I said before, we need a vision how Europe can be the real European pillar in the NATO. Global, strong player in defense. It secures our peace, if we are strong enough. But we need to work also in the European level, and we need European added value, and we need European financing, and we are open to different kind of instruments. What we need, because we need European level financing, and that's why we have changed our position, traditional position. But I want to remind that in COVID time and after COVID, in the end of the day, Finnish government, and we were in opposition at that time, we supported the recovery fund because we want to show solidarity. And it was a huge question in European Union. But now when we look the real threat from Russia, we have to use common funding where we defend European Union. And it's mostly in the eastern side, in eastern flank. But of course, we understand the security threats also in the southern Europe. This is crucial that we understand each other's security concerns. And thank you very much that you understand so well.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have 3 more minutes, so if we take very quick question from Helsingin Sanomat, Elina Kervinen, please.
Thank you, Elina Kervinen, Helsingin Sanomat. To continue to the last question, when do you think you will be able to meet the 2% goal? And is there support amongst the Spanish people to an even higher goal that is now discussed in NATO? And to Petteri Orpo, what would be your message to the countries that don't reach the common goal in NATO? And please, a short comment on the idea of grants in this new investment mechanism. Thank you.
So thank you very much for your questions. We are ready to fulfill this obligation of 2%. And now, of course, if you allow me, I will explain to my citizens in Spain, not here, when we will reach that goal. But I have to tell you that one thing is important is to fulfill this obligation of 2% of our GDP, to face the most important debate, which is the one that the Prime Minister has stated, which means, do we or do we not need to spend better? And I think that we need to spend better. And for that, we need to define what are our real threats coming from the eastern flank, also from the southern flank. What are the capabilities that we need to face those threats? And last but not least, how do we finance those capabilities? And this is the exercise that we are commonly doing, all of us, the Commission, member states, at the domestic level, but also at European level, also taking into account what is happening in NATO and how do we need to strengthen that European pillar of NATO, as the Prime Minister has said. So these are the most important questions that we need to ask. Not only the 2% of our GDP, but also where are those challenges and the capabilities we need to face those challenges. And I think that regarding, for instance, coming from Spain, but I think it's also a common threat that you are facing here in Finland, we need to strengthen our cybersecurity. Last weekend, we faced a very important cyber attack coming from Russia in Spain. So we know, and the Spanish people knows quite well, the real threat that represents Russia also for Europe as a whole, and also for a member state like Spain, which is in the southern flank of Europe. And I'm really, really grateful with Finland that understands this 360-degree approach of our security. Finland has been engaged with us and other countries like Portugal, preparing this non-paper of the situation in the Sahel, which is close to Spain. And it's a very fragile part of region of Africa. We need also to face that reality. Russia's presence in the Sahel is real, and we need also to face that security concerns coming from Africa to the southern flank of Europe. So, I'm really grateful. I respect the commitment of Finland when it comes to security and defense concerns of countries like Spain. That is why we are also very solidar. We feel that solidarity from Finland, and we are very committed with Finland on its security concerns. And last but not least, I think that we want to learn a lot when it comes to innovation and digitalization on cyber from Finland. And that is why we're looking forward to strengthening that bilateral cooperation between Finland and Spain when it comes to cybersecurity.
First, on 2%. I have seen that all member states in the European Union and also in NATO understand today that our security environment has totally changed. And we have to spend more because of a threat from Russia, but also because, as we have actually known before, that President Trump will decrease US support to European defense. Because of these two reasons, we have to spend more. And I'm very happy that all European countries, almost all, have said that they are ready to spend even 2% or more if needed. And I very much welcome what you, Prime Minister, just said and what you have said on this issue. In Finland, we have had, because Russian aggression in Ukraine, we have had huge challenges in our public economy. And we have done huge cuttings to public spending. It has not been very easy. But at the same time, security is existential for us, and that's why we have to use the money to defend what needed. And we have to solve this problem. That's why we need also European level instruments. And we are open, as I have said, for all kinds of solutions. We need financing also from, not only loans, we need financing and we are ready to look what kind of proposals from Commission will we have. But for us, as I said before, it's crucial that we use those common monies from European Union where we depend European Union. At the same time, this 360 perspective is crucial for us, and we are proud that we are, can I say, superpower in comprehensive security model in Finland. And we are ready to support all European countries on this perspective.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Prime Ministers. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you
Have a
very
very beautiful day.
Thank you so much.